Hello, Hellions. This is Jack. I thought I'd give you a little video welcome to let you know that I have a voice and a face as well. You'll hear a lot of my voice throughout the course. And I have an office. We're doing this class online because I happen to have the videos recorded, the lectures recorded. A couple years ago, I did this course as part of a consortium of small colleges. Every small college can't support a specialist in every field, so the CIC, Coalition of Independent Colleges, put together a group of about 20 schools, and we shared students using this format, so I had these ready to go. And I'm doing this course online because I'm going away on sabbatical next semester, and to do that, I need to teach 2 extra courses this semester, and this was the best way for me to fit that into my schedule. So that's why we're not sitting together face-to-face, which is my favorite way to do this class. Let's see. Even though we're doing this online, please don't think of that as a wall that I've put up between us. I'm here most of every day, though unpredictably. You are welcome to come see me as often as you want to go over readings, to discuss ideas, to say, hey Jack, I found something cool. A lot of people do that. When you discover tidbits, interesting word things, maybe I'll plug it into the class. But you should probably email or text me to make sure I'll be in. So I don't hold regular office hours so much as I'm usually here, but you should check or just drop by and see if you can find me. I'm in Kep, upper level. Some bookkeeping things right here at the beginning. First of all, I'm looking at my grade book, and now that we're finishing the first short module, you want to make sure that you have done the following. That you have introduced yourself in the forum, and I see one person still needs to do that, create a new thread in the forum. And then by yesterday, actually, grace in the beginning, as we figure all this out, go through and read all of your classmates' forum introductions and say a word of hello and greeting to them. Then also, by the way, go back and see what everyone wrote to you, because this is how we talk to each other. And some of you asked interesting questions or said interesting things or asked you out to coffee, I believe, in a couple cases. And I've responded to each of you as well. So make sure you post, respond, and then check and keep the conversation going. The next thing you need to do is make sure you've taken the syllabus quiz, gotten a 70 out of 70. Yes, that's perfect. And I believe 2 of you need to do that as well. I'm glancing at my grade book over here in my other monitor. No, just 1. And please do that before moving on so we know the rules of the road. And the final thing is sign up for a word story spot, and I think, yes, 1 of you still needs to do that. And I'll say more about word stories in just a minute. And of course, the final thing you're doing for this week, I assume you're all out working on it now, is assignment 1, or 1C it's called. This week there's just 1. I've gotten 7 of those in, so there are 11 more. I think we're 18 in this class. And I'm enjoying sending those back to you by email with my comments in usually highlighter green I'm going with this year. So I like to send you your comments back on email just to bring them to your attention and make sure you read them before much time goes by. I'm going to try and be disciplined and diligent and get those to you right away, turned around. Unless I get swamped, I'll do my best. Let's see. A look to the future. In most units, there will be 3 assignments like the one that you had for this week. So 1 this week as we're getting started. Plan on 3 of those, and I'd like to see them come in throughout the week. If you leave them all for Sunday, I can tell you from having taught this class online before, you will burst into flame and then explode. It will not work. You've got to space this class out throughout the week. The lectures, as you've probably already figured out, are full of the amazing details, ideas, theories, history of language. God's world is just too interesting to leave out the good stuff, so they're rich and detailed, and it takes time to digest that. So plan on, as if we had 3 classes a week, doing 3 assignments throughout the week. Also, throughout the week, forum conversation. The forum, I feel like, should be mostly about ideas and theories and shocking assertions that come up in Power of Babel. Where's my Power of Babel? Yikes, where's my Power of Babel? Oh, here it is. power of Babel. Every week you have 30 or 40 or so pages of reading. Sometimes McWhorter, this is a popular book, by the way, see, it's a popular paperback, and yet it contains all of the richness, depth, detail, sophistication, academic learning of a textbook, and yet it's fun. Quotes The Simpsons. What could be better than that? I'm a giant Simpsons fan. There will be all kinds of, I expect worldview changing assertions in here, especially if you're an English major or an English major type, which require processing. There are also specific details. He crams in the specific details from languages you've probably never heard of. And those take working through as well. And they also may connect to something you have experience with. Maybe you know a bit of that language. Maybe your ancestors spoke that language. Maybe you got curious about something in the book, said, I don't know what that is, looked it up and found out something fun about it. So I'd like for forum conversations to deal a lot with this. I'm not saying they can't come out of the lectures of the history of the English language stuff that I give you. That's certainly a great thing to talk about in the forums, but homework assignments sort of cover that, and forums should at least cover a lot of the reading. I also want to recommend you, word to the wise, pro tip, your final essays in this class will be take-home essays. And what I'll do is I'm going to give you about 10 misconceptions, popular misconceptions about the nature of language, each represented in a quote, and ask you to respond or even refute that misconception, and to do so with ideas and evidence, ideas always with evidence underneath. You're going to need a lot of this book and a lot of the lectures to write compelling responses. So you might be enjoying Chapter 7 as you're reading and think, oh, that's fascinating about Romanian and about Choctaw and Scottish English and Swedish Danish. You won't remember it by the time December rolls around. So highlight, post-it note. Ideally, you would probably summarize with 3 or 4 pages of notes each chapter from this book so that that information is ready at hand to use in forum discussions and on the final exam. Let me see. After every about 3 modules, there's a unit-long unit project. Testing doesn't work online. You just look up the answers. So I give you a project, one after Old English, one after Middle English, one after phonetics, one after Old English, one after Middle English, one after Early Modern English. And those give you often a text to wrestle with and do literary things with, as well as linguistic things with. Again, do not leave these for Sunday evening. You will wish that the sulfur and brimstone came down and burned your house down. Work throughout the week. Pace yourself. This is a rewarding class. It's my favorite class to teach. Don't tell that to any of my other students. It's my favorite class, but there's a lot in it, as you already know. What else? Forum assignments throughout the week, homework assignments throughout the week. Make sure you look at what I'm looking for a good forum submission, something substantial, where you're moving the conversation forward. I try and remind you of that, and I'll be joining the forum conversations. And even when I'm not talking, I'll be listening and enjoying what you have to say and contribute. I think that brings us to the word story table. So, you've signed up for a word story. How do you do those? Well, you create a video based on a PowerPoint. Also, leave yourself a little bit of time for that process to kind of get figured out. Technical difficulty day. I can help with that. Computer services can help with that. So be working on those throughout the semester. My advice there would be just get interested in words. Some of you have already started doing this. Say, hey Jack, I ran across this cool word history, this new word entering the language. I love to collect those. When you find one of those, run to the OED. I have the print version up there. You can't see it unless I turn my laptop around, and that will pull everything off my desk. But I have a print one over there. I have a 1 volume like this, where the font is like, a billionth of an inch, like 0.1 font, and it even has like this microscope you can read it with. So feel free to come use that. And also, I invite you, I expect you, in fact, to come use my word study table. You can see it right there in the back. And see that yellow book right there that says Origins? It's a great place to start, both to look up words that you found interesting, and also to read or skim. Yes, actually read. I got stranded once on the road from a conference, and I had that with me, and I read 600 pages of it before they got my car fixed. Fascinating reading. Great first place to start. The next two sources, right here, also really good reading dictionaries. Those are both by a company called NTC. One is Latin and Greek Origins. It's kind of like the language arts you might have had in middle school, but long lists of families of words and how they came out of Latin and Greek. Word story family right there. The other one is Dictionary of Meaning Changes, right there. So if you're interested in how a meaning of a word has changed over time, that's a great place to start, because it's nothing but someone who read the whole OED. Many people have done that and survived. I've not made it through yet, but I'm working on it. And compiled a list of the most wild routes that a word has taken from where it started to how it ended up in terms of meaning. And I've also put on the table just interesting books that I've been reading. You should read Steven Pinker, The Stuff of Thought, the metaphors that underlie our brain. Talking Back, Talking Black, if you're interested in African American vernacular English, formerly Ebonics. This is also by McWhorter. It's called Our Magnificent Bastard Tongue. He has about 6-7 books. So these are just sort of for fun. My office is usually open, so you're welcome to come in. If I leave my trombone or something in here, I might lock it sometime, but you're welcome to come in. Unless I'm holding class in here, I have a small class I need in here. Love to see you just come and sit down at the table, take a book and read it out here. Please don't check those out and let them leave the building, because that kind of stays here. It's my reference section. That's all I wanted to say. I went on a little longer than I intended, but I always try and leave you with a tidbit, and today I could only come up with a lame tidbit. And the tidbit is that, and this will only make sense if you've done the first assignment due today, the phrase cheese-eating surrender monkeys has its own Wikipedia entry page. I'm looking at it right now. Maybe that's not so lame. I find that enjoyable. So when you see me, drop by, introduce yourself, help me with names. Maybe drop by my office and introduce yourself so we can get to know each other person to person. Welcome to class. Work hard. Have a great time, because in the beginning was